Girl, it's not happenstance, it's magic. And it's
This is Colourful Radio. Our music, our news, our views.
So that was Anthony David, Believe Me, and before that was Darren Brockington, All We Ever Need. Now today we are talking about self-awareness with knowing your history to know yourself. And I've always wanted to know what you guys thought about what you appreciated in mind that it is Black History Month. I'm yet to hear from anyone yet, but that's okay. I will just tell you what I said earlier on in regards to my own appreciation. So earlier I said, and I still stand by it, I said, I appreciate the known and unknown individuals who fought for what we have today. I appreciate the strength of my ancestors. I appreciate my culture, the music, the food, and much more. I also acknowledge that through displacement, I do not know the true place I am from or my mother tongue. However, I appreciate, own and accept that my skin tone and features tell a story in their own right. And whilst I've been online, I've been looking at a few tweets from a few people that we know, and this one by Spike, or these two in fact by Spike Lee, really kind of got me thinking even further. He said, it comes down to this: Black people were stripped of our identities when we were brought here, and it's been a quest since then to define who we are. We've gone through the names Negro, African American, African Black. For me, that's an indication of a people still trying to find their identity. Who determines what is Black? And that goes back to the point that I was making today, that you have to have self-awareness to know yourself, and knowing your history furthers that self-awareness in knowing self. And again, I said it earlier with Rashid, and it's one of the quotes today. Because I do my little morning quotes every day. The morning quote today is: a people without the knowledge of their past history, origin and culture is like a tree without roots. And that's by Marcus Garvey. And I thought, as I'm playing a lot of gospel today, due to the fact that music, and it was actually Mahalia Jackson who said blues are the songs of despair, but gospel songs are the songs of hope. And I've been trying to incorporate more of that into my show today because it is Black History Month, and just also a celebration of gospel music, especially in what it stood for and what it meant to the people at the time. So Ella Fitzgerald said, forgive me if I don't have the words, maybe I can sing it and you'll understand. And Billie Holiday said, you can't copy anybody and end with anything. If you copy, it means you are working without any real feeling. No two people on earth are alike, and it's got to be that way in music or it isn't music. Great words by both of them. And that one by Ella Fitzgerald, where she said, forgive me if I don't have the words, maybe I can sing it and you'll understand. That taps into what Rashid was speaking about earlier, where he said, working through pain, there's different ways to do that. It's not always just by speaking. It is through music. It is by painting, by the arts. And I'm just sat here just wondering, just wondering just how many musicians of that time literally just wrote because it was what they were feeling at the time. And I'm sure that was indeed the case, because music was their story. It was them telling their story, and it was their way of expressing. And through that, it is very, very therapeutic. And also it has the ability to literally tap into your soul and also awaken any kind of dormant feelings that may need to come to the surface. So music is really powerful, and the history of it is absolutely amazing when you kind of look into it a bit more. And I found it very fascinating doing that. Hence the reason why today I've been trying to play a lot more gospel music than I probably would, but that's fine. And it's all good stuff, and I'm actually learning even more while I'm sat here, because we never stop learning, do we? I'm going to leave you with a bit more music until I am joined by Mark Simpson from Black History Studies. Enjoy. This is Keith Andrews, One Day at a Time.
Sake, help me to take one
This is Colourful Radio.
Our music,
our
our
news,
news,
our
our
views.
So that was Keith Andrews, One Day at a Time. So it's Black History Month. It's Black History Month. What does that mean to you? What do you normally do at this time? Again, me and Rashid spoke about it earlier, and we said, you know, some people think Black History Month shouldn't just be a month. It should be all year round. It should be every day. And you know what? It is. It is every day. It is all year round. It is every month. It's not confined to just one month. However, there is so much value in having something that is called Black History Month, because it's a time where we can all get together, hone in on the same thing, and literally celebrate our ancestors, celebrate the people who've done so much for what we have today, and celebrate the people who are currently doing so much in order for us to have a brighter future tomorrow. In the first hour, I spoke about cellular memory, I spoke about post-traumatic slave syndrome, and I spoke about those things because in knowing yourself, it's the understanding that sometimes we do things and we don't understand why we do it, we just do it. The only way we're going to understand why we do something is to actually look at it. And to look at it is part of having a self-audit where you find the time to check in with yourself and ask yourself certain questions to see what comes up. I think about 2 weeks ago, I did a show on body image and self-view, and the theme was self-acceptance. And I spoke a lot about the obsession at the moment with celebrity stardom and, you know, who's wearing what and who looks like what. And sometimes it acts as a distraction to what we really think about them, you know, about ourselves. We kind of take it all in, and then because of what we see and the amount of the influx of what we see, we can take it in as our own and begin to think things about ourselves that we actually don't really think is true, but we take it in all the same, and then we just run with it. So on that level, that's really interesting. But if we go further back in terms of history, do we always do what we do just because it's our choice? I don't think so, because of cellular memory. I wrote an article last year called An Open Letter to the Strong Black Woman. I've put it on my timeline, so please scroll back and have a look and read when you have time. My point is that so much is informed from before, and, you know, history lives within our blood, it lives within our veins. And sometimes we just do something based upon what's occurred before. And to understand our history, understanding who we are, we have to look at our history. And some of it is painful. Some of it is really painful, but you're not going to break through unless you heal through. And so even though we have a vast history, and the majority of it, I believe, is spent on slavery, I think it's because we're still, as people, trying to work through that. There is still healing to be done. There's still much to be done to move forward, but we can do that in your own time. But you have to do the work, unfortunately. I wish, you know, sometimes there could be a magic wand and someone could just literally just take it all away. But unfortunately, that isn't the case. And that's not part of the journey. It isn't part of the journey. So I also said as well, you know, at the moment, you know, we look at Vogue and other such magazines for fashion trends. And as you know, within the Black community, relaxing our hair and straightening our hair is something that we do. But why do we do it? Do we actually know why we do it? Do we know where that comes from? There is a history about that also. And again, that is something for you to go delve into and find out. If you make a decision that you want to, for example, relax your hair, straighten your hair or whatever, that's fine because it's an informed choice. But to do it just because it's a status quo means that you're just doing it because it's the status quo. Representations and stereotypes about who we are is also very interesting because we will take that in as our own as well. But literally, what do you think about yourself? How do you define yourself? What do you think about your naturally curly hair? No, really, what do you think about it? Because guess what? There's nothing wrong with it. You was born with it. You was born with it for a reason. So it's about changing your own perceptions of yourself based upon the perceptions of other people and what they have to say about you. It's about empowering yourself. It's about taking that back, and it's about looking into your history. There's so much interesting, exciting things about who we are and what we've done. Earlier on in the show, I mentioned the amount of interesting inventions that our people have invented that you may not know about. We've invented the buggy, the mailbox, cellular phones, so much stuff. But do we know about it? No, because it's not really in our faces. But just because it's not in our faces doesn't mean that it's not there. There's a wealth of information, and we now have the tools through certain search engines to find out anything and everything. So it's about using what we have and finding out more about who we are. And you also defining who you are as well. Who defines it? Who is the person who defines who we are? Is it not us? Are we not the author of our own life? Do we not write our own story? If that's not currently happening, then it can happen. You just got to get back into that driving seat. Right, I'm going to play this wonderful song by Israel Houghton, and it's called Moving Forward. I hope you enjoy it.
What a moment, you've brought me to such a freedom. I have found in you, you're the healer who makes all things new. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not going back, I'm moving ahead, here to declare to you past is over, you, things are made new, surrendered my life to Christ, I'm moving forward, oh. You've risen with all power in your hands, you have given me second chance. Hallelujah, hallelujah, yeah, 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 oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm not going back, moving ahead, here to declare